What is up, YouTube? Alright, so last night what happened is my locals, they hold weekly free tournaments, and a lot of people end up going to these just because it's free. So what I decided to do was bring Worms, another Hidden Arsenal dual terminal archetype, because, you know, I want to make them all as competitive as they could possibly be. The reason that I decided to bring this to our free tournament is those are usually the ones that I go to test out these rough builds that I'm working on, because I don't want to spend money at a tournament just to lose every single round. But this tournament I went to, I ended up getting 4th place with this deck, so that was pretty good. So yeah, let's just get right into this. So first off, what you're gonna do, or what I did, was play 2 Worm Carteros. So Worm Carteros, what it is you can tell that it is a product of its age because it is a flip searcher. When Worm Carteros gets flipped face up, you can add a worm monster from deck to hand. I'm pretty sure it's a level 4 or lower worm monster from deck to hand. So I only run 2 of him because he's a flip effect, so it's pretty slow. Next up, I run the bread and butter of all worm decks. You run triple Worm Zex and triple Worm Yagin. Worm Zex, when he is summoned, you can send a Worm Yagin. You can send a worm monster, a light reptile worm, because there's many other worms in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! So you can send a light reptile worm from deck to grave. Worm Yagin, when it's in the grave and there is a Worm Zex face up on field, you can special summon Worm Yagin from your grave to your field face down. Fun thing about Worm Yagin is that Worm Yagin is Compulse. It's similar to Penguin Soldier. When it gets flipped face up, you can bounce a monster that your opponent has on their side of the field to their hand. The cool thing about them is that when either one of them are face up on your side of the field, they can't be destroyed by battle, so they work really well together. I run one other worm in the entire deck, and that is 2 Worm King. Worm King, he is the target for the trap card W Nebula Meteorite that you're going to be running. He also can be, so he's a level 8, but you contribute just 1 worm monster, 1 light reptile worm, to summon him to your side of the field. Also, once per turn, you contribute a worm on your side of the field to destroy a card on your opponent's side of the field. So that actually comes in handy quite a bit. Once the game gets going, since this is more of a control-based strategy, you are able to build up enough resources to keep on popping your opponent's cards. So that's really useful. I was able to get one of my wins just because this is a once per turn. Other monsters that I run 2 Thunder King Ryo. Thunder King Ryo is a Solemn Warning along with a Drolin Lockbird. While Thunder King Ryo is face up on the field, neither player can add cards from their deck to their hand except by drawing them. So no more searching, it's just completely turned off. Also, when your opponent would summon a monster, you can send them to the grave to negate that special summon and destroy the monster. So it's really old card. It was very broken back in the day, but I just run it because it's a light card, and it's a good stall tactic. I didn't really have any other big, higher impact cards. The other 2 monsters, I run Evil Dragon and Anta, just for that blowout card, and Naua, the Ogdaic Remnant. Naua sends Worm Yagin to the grave. That's really the only reason that I run it. I don't know if I'm going to keep on running it, but this deck did pretty well just for the 1 try run that I took of it to the single tournament. For spells, I run 3 Pot of Duality and 1 Pot of Extravagance. If it was up to me, I would be running 2 Pot of Extravagance and 2 Pot of Duality instead of 3 and 1. I just don't own another Pot of Extravagance, and I had the 3 Pots of Duality. The good thing about Pot of Duality, it doesn't really hinder your deck at all. When you do special summon, you're doing it more on your opponent's turn with W Nebula Meteorite. So there's that. The power card of the deck is going to be W Nebula Meteorite. This is probably one of the most broken cards in the game. It's one of those cards that It's so broken, but it is locked to a specific archetype. If this card was in any other archetype, this would 100% be on the ban list. What it is you flip all of your monsters face up. That triggers all of your worms effects.
I'll go second. I will attach Union Driver with its own effect.
When you attach,
yeah, okay.
I'm going to chain with WNBL Meteorite. And I will bounce that Cyber Dragon up. Charge of the Light Brigade.
Relentless, what even? Yeah.
Then, at the end phase, you flip all of your monsters face down. You draw a card for each one of them, and then you can special summon a level 7 or higher Light Reptile. So what it does is it resets your Carteros, it resets your Yagin, and then it brings out a Worm King. So it's such a good card. It's such a good card. I got all of my wins last night just because I had this card. For the Solemns, I run 3 Solemn Judgment, 3 Solemn Strike, and then I run a single Warning. I might take the Warning out, I don't really know yet. I would even put 2 more Warnings in. It just really depends on what direction I'm going to be going with this deck. It was so much fun last night to play. It was my first time really ever playing an actual control deck. I'm usually just doing combos, so this was... I loved this. This was so much fun. So yeah, just 3-3-1. That's up to your own discretion on what you want to do. Next, 3 Trap Trick. Yes, I know, they're Ultras, they're not the secret first ed. We all know that I'm a rarity hoe. I picked up Alti Tenkies for X-Sabers a year ago. But Trap Trick is such a good card because it means that I have 3 more W Nebula Meteorite. It also means that I have 3 more Compulsory Evacuation Device, which is a card that not a single person is expecting in this meta.
Okay, actually, chain. So, on summon.
Well, no, so what happens is it targets so the cost of target.
Oh, so it's a cost?
Yeah, so there's
I will
You can target.
negate.
It says you can, so it's not a chain. So. On summon.
Yeah.
On.
this card is destroyed.
Yeah, I will Almirage. Wait, no, it's not destroy, yeah, so...
You can target 1 card.
Yeah, that's
control,
a nice little chain.
But yeah, Trap Trick can search Compulse, Trap Trick can search W Nebula Meteorite, and both of those cards, when activated at the right time to chain to whatever your opponent's doing, can be blowout cards. They can just completely stop your opponent in the tracks, because W Nebula Meteorite, what it does is it'll bring Wormyogg, and it'll flip Wormyogg to Compulse a monster, or Trap Trick can bring out Compulse to Compulse a monster. So many cards prevent destruction or banishment or anything kind of like that. Compulse and Yagin, they're just bouncing it back to the hand. They circumvent so many big meta cards. Next up, I run triple summon limit, just because this is a control deck. That's really the only reason. And then for the last 3, I run 2 Waking the Dragon and 1 Network Trap Hole. I've been trying to look for a 3rd Waking the Dragon. I can't find anybody that has one. I'm specifically looking for the OTS Super, not the Mystic Fighters Super. And so I found Network Trap Hole in my bulk, and I threw it in as the 3rd version of Waking the Dragon. Doesn't do the same thing, it's just a Trap Hole card, but what it is when a monster is summoned from the deck or grave, you can banish it face down. So that's really, really good. I was able to stop the summoning of a Cyber Dragon Infinity yesterday, so that was really, really nice. Waking the Dragon, for that, let's hop right into the extra deck so that you can see what my targets for that card are. Alright, for Waking the Dragon targets, I run triple Naturia Exterio, triple Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, and 1 Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon. If I had 2 more Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcons, I would be playing those instead of the Blue Eyes Alternative Dragon, and I would be playing a 3rd King of the Feral Imps to replace the 1 other open spot. So for that, I run, for the Ixies, 2 King of the Feral Imps, and 3 Star Liege Paladynamo. King of the Feral Imps just searches your entire deck. In Star Liege Paladynamo, what he requires is just 2 level 4 light monsters. You detach 2 materials, target a monster your opponent controls, its effects are negated, and its attack is reduced to 0. Also, when Star Liege Paladynamo leaves the field, you draw a card. So it's a pretty... It's not great because it targets, but it is pretty busted for what it does. And then last card, I run just Reptilian Echidna. It reduces your opponent's monster's attack to 0, and then you can search a reptile monster in your deck. So it never came up, but it's there to be there. Alright, so that is the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed Worms. I'm probably going to be messing around with this a little bit more in the future. I'm still trying to figure out more of what to do with ice barriers. But yeah, that's about it. Alright, hope you guys enjoy. We'll see you around.
Quick deck profile. We need a deck profile.
My deck is... It's bad, dude. It's just the generic... I copied someone else, dude. I don't want it.